Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to unbox and have fun with the thermal cinch. I do have a couple of the regular cinch machines, and I'll link a video to how to use that one down below. That's a really popular video that really helps simplify that machine because it can kind of be tricky. But I went ahead and invested in the thermal one because, first of all, it's pink and so cute, but also because I love the idea of being able to bind a book in a traditional way and create mini notebooks. I think that is so fun. So we're going to go ahead and do that today. We're going to open this up, see how it works, and then create something really beautiful with it. I will link everything that I'm using down below because this comes with quite a bit of accessories that you can purchase separately. And of course, I did purchase some of those so we could play around with them. But let's go ahead and open this up and have some fun creating a really pretty notebook. But also, if you do want to see anything that I'm using, click on the title of the video and I will have a whole source list of all the things that you're going to see in this video today. All right, let's open this up. Okay, so this is what the thermal cinch looks like. Again, there is a traditional cinch that does the coil bindings or rings. I think there's a couple different machines, and this one is actually going to bind books a little bit more traditionally with a glue spine. So it's going to look like a real book or notebook, which is really, really intriguing. I think this comes in a couple colors, of course. I wanted to get the pink, but let's open this up and see how this works. Now, again, it does come with some additional accessories as well, and I'll show you the ones that I decided to invest in. These are just so cute. I cannot wait to play around with this. Okay, I'm gonna open this up and let's see what comes inside. Pretty in pink already. Okay, so here is the machine itself. We also have a little pamphlet of directions. And let's see what is included inside the box. So it looks like we have some bindings included, and then we have a little clip as well. I'm gonna set that to the side and then we'll see which prints are included because they have a lot of really fun prints. Loving the pop of the bubblegum pink on the top as well. It's like a ballet pink and a bubblegum pink together. That's so pretty. Another thing that I love that I'm noticing right away is that it has the directions right on the machine. And let me tell you, isn't that just a dream? Because I feel like it's so nice to have everything right where it needs to be. You don't have to keep pamphlets laying around. You have everything that you need to know on the machine itself, which I love. So it says plug in the machine and flip the switch on side panel. So there is a on switch right here so that we will click right after we plug this in. The blinking light will beep when the machine is ready. Place the book in the machine and press the timer, which is located right here. Blinking light will beep when the book is ready, and then remove the book and let it cool in the holder for 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna set it up just like this and then open it this way. So we have, whoops, I have a little cord here. We have the actual inside of the machine here. This is where we're gonna place our book to bind it together. And then this is the little cooling area right off to the side. Then it closes, it's all just one machine, easy peasy. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug this in and get it all ready to go. All right, so I have it plugged in. Before I turn it on, let's look at some of the other accessories that come with this. So included in the box, we have some binding material, and it comes with a few samples in here. So that's wonderful. So we have a floral one. I think this is honestly so, so pretty. It's also pre-scored. You can see the score lines right here, so it's pre-scored. And I believe this is a 1/4 inch thick, so you can make your book that wide or thick. And then we have a pretty pink one, and then we also have this teal or turquoise one. So pretty. Matches my nails, so you know that I love that color too. Okay, so those are included in the machine. We also have this little binding clip, which is very helpful for securing all of our paper together when it's time to place it into the machine. So let's set these to the side. I want to show you some additional accessories that I purchased that I want to use with this machine as well. Okay, additional accessories that I decided to grab were these elastic book bands. These are so nice for closing up your notebook after you create it. They are an elastic band that just spans around the side of the notebook. These are very fun, and the colors are so pretty. There are also these gorgeous little tassel bookmarks, which I think are so pretty as well. Very trendy, and I love the colors. So you can attach them to the binding, I believe, and then yeah, I think that's how you're going to do it. Easily adheres to your thermal cinch project. Okay, perfect. I also decided to grab some of the additional glue strips. This is going to allow me to create my own bindings as well, or spines is what they call them. So I can use just any scrapbook paper that I have to create these spines. As you saw with the 3 spines that were included, they have the glue strip already installed on there, but this is going to allow me to use any paper that I want and create a book in any size, which is so exciting. So I bought some of those glue strips to have. And then, of course, I wanted to get some additional spines. So here is the retro spine. This is very pretty. I believe there are 6 different prints, which is so pretty. You can create some really fun things with this look. I also got the floral collection as well. Turn that over so you can see all of the pretty patterns that are included with that. And then this one's really pretty because these have some shaped spines. So we have different types of shapes that we can use on these. I love this one that looks somewhat like lace. We have some scalloped ones as well. So we're gonna have fun playing around with all of these beautiful things, and let's create something super pretty. Okay, the first thing that I want to do, I'm not gonna turn this on quite yet because I think it'll probably heat up fairly quickly. So what I'm going to do is start creating my notebook. So Joann recently was closing, and I decided that I just had to have this collection. I think it is so pretty. We have some solid papers here, but we also have a lot of fun prints, and my eye is just loving, I think there was a bunny one that is just so cute. Look at this one. We're gonna play around with this today, and we're gonna make something very pretty. So I'm just going to cut off the little tape sides so that we can make something super pretty here and open this up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this sheet of paper, and I'm going to decide what I want to do in terms of size for my notebook. I think I'm gonna do a 6x8 notebook. I think that'll be really pretty. So I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer so that I can trim this down. Okay, so let's bring the paper trimmer in and get this trimmed to size. I'm just going to trim off this tab really quickly. And then what I want to do is I'm going to trim this down to, let's see, I said 8, I believe, 6x8. I believe that's what I want to do. So let's do 8 inches, just like that. And then because this is 12x12 paper, I can just trim this right in half to get my 6. So I'll have a front and back side of my book. Okay, so here are the front and back side of the book I want to make. Again, I have this at 6x8 inches. I also have a lot of extra to do something else. And again, you can make a book in any size. You could make a tiny little book as well, which would be so cute out of this print. I also want to decide on what binding I want to use. I know I want to do a scallop binding, and so I think I'm either going to use that peach or white. So let me open these up. Now on the solid, you can actually see those score lines even better. So again, those are pre-scored for you. And then we have the glue on the inside. We also have some adhesive right here. We're just gonna remove this strip. It'll help secure it all together. But again, you can make your own as well. All right, let's see how this pretty peach looks with our paper. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I might actually go with the white, however. That would be just adorable. I think I will go with the white, but the peach would be equally so pretty. Okay. So these have little pieces that I need to poke out. So I'm just gonna grab my little pokey tool and poke all of these little insides out. That way we can get that pretty eyelet look. And actually, real quick, I'm gonna trim this down to the 8 inches because it is too big as is. So bring this right back on in. and bring this all the way to 8, just right there, and trim that down. Okay, and it does a really good job even with the adhesive right on there. And again, you have this leftover piece, so you can create a small mini book, which would be so pretty out of this design. Think of all of the beautiful books and themed books that you could create, or journals, notebooks, things like that, because I am thinking this would be really pretty if you had like a pencil type of paper. You could do a fun book for a teacher. These would make beautiful, beautiful gifts, and the possibilities are endless in my mind. I feel like I am just so inspired to get going with projects like this. Okay, I got all those little pieces out. Isn't that going to be so pretty? Oh, I just love the soft nature of this project. Okay, now another thing that I want to do is, do you see on this side how the adhesive doesn't reach all the way to the end? This is the side that I trimmed off, and what I want to do is I am just going to simply peel back just a little bit so that this matches the other side. And it makes sense to me that it doesn't reach the end because I don't want that adhesive to seep out the top or bottom of my book. So all I'm going to do is, it's very easy to peel that back. I'm going to just trim that down just like that. That way I have about 1/4 of an inch on each side. And again, that glue doesn't span all the way to the edge of the spine of the book. Okay, so we're all ready to go. Let me clean up this little mess, and then we'll work on the pages for the inside. Oh my goodness, and I was putting these off and into my hand, and I missed my hand, and all of these just went all over the floor. So craft room cleanup is coming next. Well, let's just keep unboxing things today. So I also did get the Cinch stack cutter, and I have been intrigued with buying one of these. This is actually a new product, but I've been intrigued with the idea of this product for a long time now, but I've been researching them and they've been so expensive. Then We Are Makers came out with one, and I really thought the price was worth it. So I went ahead and grabbed one of these. The reason I personally invested in one is because I do a lot of Bible studies, and the Bible studies are actually like a traditional book, like the one we're making today. And what I wanted to do is be able to slice off the spine of my Bible studies and coil bind them myself so that they open and lay flat. So we're doing the opposite today and making a traditional book, but another idea for using a Cinch stack cutter such as this is to be able to take traditional books and create wire bound books so that they're easier to open and shut. So we're going to pause and get all of our paper cut. This is going to be the easiest way. However, you can just use a regular trimmer like I was using earlier to do the front and back side of my book if you don't want to invest in something like this. But this is able to cut larger amounts of paper quicker and all at once. So I'm excited about this. So first I need to assemble this. So I need to put the handle on the lever. Just like this. It says the handle does not tighten, so it just goes right on, just like so. You also can go to an office supply store that has a print shop, and they can do all of your paper cutting for you. They can also remove the binding from your books. That's how I've been doing my Bible studies up until this point, and then I've been just wanting to be able to do that myself. Okay, then we have this piece, and we have an Allen wrench as well. So I just need to install this right on, the bottom side here. So I need to move this around. That way we can see it. Actually, I think I need to take this piece off. First of all, let's actually take this back off so that you can see what I'm doing. There's a little screw here that I'm going to remove, so I can place this crank on. Okay, so line this up just like that. Place the screw right back in and tighten. Okay, so now I can crank that. That looks good. Put this right back on. Actually, I may just keep it this way so that we can see it a little bit better in this fashion. Okay, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is, it says to hand tighten this lever down here. Okay, There's also this plastic safety cover that I also need to install. Looks to be on this back side, so I'm going to turn this and install it right over here. Okay, I actually am going to do it this way because I'm going to need to pull down on this lever to cut my paper. But again, my book is going to be 6 inches by 8 inches. You can use any paper that you wish. I am going to go ahead and use an 80-pound cardstock just because I want this to be a nice thick book and I want the paper to be nice high quality. So I have enough cardstock that I have 1/4 inch thick here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it right inside, and then I'm going to align it so that it comes up with the 8 first. So I will do right there, 8 inches. So I'm making sure that that is aligned where I'd like it. Cranking that lever down, and that's off camera, that just black crank. Okay, and tighten that down so that way my cardstock will not move. Okay, now it's placed in there, and then I can go ahead and cut the paper. Right, it's already done. It was just smooth like butter. Okay, so I'm going to uncrank it so I can get my paper out. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then here's my leftover pieces. Look at that. And then we're going to turn this. Okay, so look at how beautiful that cut. We're going to turn it. And this way is going to be, oh, I forgot to utilize this the last time. So we're going to utilize that. Okay, so this you undo and you can have it align with your paper. That way everything is just snug as a bug. So I have this at 6 inches, again, because that's the size of my notebook. That way your paper rests nice against that piece. Okay, and then I'm going to close down my crank so that it holds my paper tight so it doesn't shift. Okay, and always be careful of where your fingers are. Okay, so now that's not going to move. Okay, and then I can cut. Just like that. Done. Oh my goodness, that was worth every penny. Okay, so then here are my leftover pieces. This is going to be great for cutting a lot of cardstock at once. I'm a card maker, so this is going to allow me to cut all of my panels really quickly, all my card bases. I love this. It used to take me forever to do. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and now I have my book inside that is 6 inches by 8 inches, and that took minutes. That would have taken me a lot longer with just a traditional cutter. However, you can do it. If you don't want to invest in something like this, absolutely just do this with a regular paper trimmer. We are going to test this out at the end. I'm going to cut off the spine of my next Bible study just to see how that works. All right, now that we're ready to go, let's go ahead and turn on right on the side. Again, there is a little button. Going to click that on. It's beeping to let me know that I did switch it on. It says the blinking light will beep when the machine is ready. So we're just going to wait for that to be ready. Okay, in the meantime, now we have the inside pieces of our book. We also have the front cover and the back cover. This is where you'll want to decide which one you want on front. I'm gonna do this on the front, this on the back. Okay. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Oh, that paper cutter. I am so excited about that. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold this along those score lines. Okay, just like so. One side and then the next. And then what we're going to do is remove the adhesive on both sides so that it will stick down to our book. But what I want to do, and again, they give you one little clamp with your machine, but I'm gonna grab a couple more that I have. I have some other clamps that I have for my Glowforge for securing wood pieces together when gluing, and I'll just use those for this as well. All right, you heard it beep, so it's all ready to go. Now, I'm going to make sure this is all aligned where I'd like it. Looks so pretty. I'm gonna use these clamps just to secure everything together. Okay. And you can use more if you'd like. I think 2 is going to suffice. And then let's go ahead and remove this adhesive. 1 and 2. Okay. And then let's see, what's the best way to do this? I'm going to line this up like so. Just like that. Yep, okay. And then I can just wrap that spine around and place that into place just like that. Okay, and then as you can see, that adhesive that is built in here is meeting up with the ends of my paper. So then that's going to melt. Okay, so that beeped and it's all ready to go. I have these sides pressed down. This is what it looks like so far. Okay, but the only adhesive we have right now that is functioning is that double-sided adhesive on the front and the back. So now we need to melt that glue so that it binds that book together. All right, so then we're going to place it right inside. Okay, just like that. And then we'll press the timer button. Now I don't want to move this, but you can kind of see, it's also glowing on my hand, the timer light is flashing. So it's blinking and it's going to beep when our book is ready. I think this process is supposed to take about 2 minutes. Okay, so it beeped. I'm simply going to remove my book and place it right over here in the cooling rack. And it does say to allow it to cool for 5 minutes. I'm going to switch this off in the meantime because we are going to make another book in a little bit, but this can go ahead and just rest while we're creating the next one. All right, it's been 5 minutes, so I can go ahead and remove my clamps and open up my book. Oh my gosh, it's all bound together. Oh my gosh, I love that. And again, the possibilities are truly endless. If you switch out your pattern paper, you could make fun things for teachers and friends. These would make wonderful gifts. And you can also use your Cricut, if you have a Cricut or a vinyl cutting machine, to add some personalization. I was going to do that, but I'm going to skip that because of the length of the video. But you could also do that and have some fun with creating even more personalized gifts. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one, but this time I want to create my own binding. I'm calling it binding, but you could also call it spine. I'm honestly using those terms interchangeably. So let's just continue with this paper pack. I am going to use, let's see, oh, this looks really pretty to use as well. You could also use these stickers to add some personalization to your project as well. I'm going to use this pattern next. I think that is so pretty. And I'm going to use the other pieces that came off of my other notebook when I used the stack cutter. And I'm going to make a long and skinny notebook. I think this would be fun for to-do lists. So this next one is going to be 3 inches by 8.5. I'll start by cutting that tab off. Let's go ahead and do the 8.5 right there. And then I'm going to do 2 at 3 inches so that I have a front and back. Then again, I am just going to decide which I want on the front and which I want on the back, just like so. and I have the front and back of my new book. Okay, and then let's find a piece for the binding. All of these are so pretty. This would be actually really gorgeous to use, or you could do something solid, but let's have fun with a print. So I think this would be really pretty and complementary to my notebook. So now we are just going to do some simple math. Let's first cut off the tab. All right, we know we want the width of it to be 3 inches. Now be sure that you are being mindful of the orientation of your paper if you have a pattern. So I'm flipping this around. I am going to do 3 inches wide because that is the width of my notebook. Okay, so this is going to be the wrap that I wrap around my book. So what I want to do is decide how thick I want that on each side. And I am thinking maybe 1.25 inches. Yes, 1.25 inches. So I want to do 1.25 inches plus 1.25 inches. That leaves us with 3 inches. Okay, so that would be 1.25 inches on each side. But then I also have to add in the 1/4 inch thickness. So for that, I'm going to want to do 3.25 inches. And again, that's going to allow me to have 1.5 inches on each side plus 1/4 inch in the middle where it's going to wrap around the spine of my book. So then I'm just going to grab a scoreboard. Okay, and now you can really visually see what we're doing here. So 1.5 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to score at 1.5. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Score at 1.5, and that's going to leave my 1/4 inch little margin there that's going to wrap around my book. Okay, that's where my spine is going to be. So then what I can do is fold, increase, okay, and then the other side, fold, increase, okay, and then there is that little spine. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to add that adhesive strip. All right, so I'm going to open up those glue strips. They look to have a adhesive back on there, which that is amazing. So that is going to make this even easier. Okay, and then you can just trim this down with a paper trimmer if you'd like to. I am simply going to measure. Again, I'm going to leave about 1/4 inch on each side so that glue doesn't seep out the sides. So let's go ahead and trim that down right about there. And then I can take that adhesive off the back and I'll place it right in that 1/4 inch allowance. Okay, so right there. Okay, now we just made our own little spine. Very cute. Okay, this is so exciting because then you can use any scrapbook paper that you have. You can get creative with prints and pairing papers together. So now what I'm going to do is, let's get this back in here and turn it right back on, right on the side. All right, and then I'm gonna grab those clamps, place those on one side. So I like to do whatever is the bottom because you don't want your clamps to go into your machine. Okay, so you're going to clamp the side that's going to stick out the top. All right. And then for this notebook, it doesn't really matter which side is going to be front or back because they're both going to be identical. So all right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tape runner this time to act as my adhesive. Okay, so I'm just adding adhesive so that it glues down to the front and back of my book. Okay, and then I'm going to place it right on top, line that up, and press down. There we go. Okay, so now I have my spine or binding right on there. You heard the beep, so we're ready to go. I can place that right inside and then click the timer button. Okay, it is all done. So I'm going to simply remove it from the machine, and then I'm going to place it right on that little holding area to cool for 5 minutes. I'm convinced that this is my new favorite machine in my craft room because I have alluded to the fact that I like to buy pattern paper over and over on my channel. I buy it all the time thinking I'm going to use it and then it goes unused. This is a wonderful, wonderful way for you to use all of your pattern paper. And again, if you switch out the pattern paper for either the person you're making it for or the season or holiday that you are currently in, you can make so many fun, beautiful things with this thermal cinch. And I bought this with my own money. I was super interested in having it in my craft room to create beautiful things. I can see myself making some beautiful teacher gifts at the end of the year with this. While that's still cooling, let's go and tiptoe back to our first notebook and see if we can use these elastic cork bands as a little accessory. Any of the colors would be so pretty, but I'm loving this pink. And you can simply place it along the side here and you can have it to close your book. Isn't that cute? All right, it's been about 5 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. I can remove the clamps. I love this size for to-do lists. I think that is a perfect size because of the long length of it. So cute, and it made to-do lists even more adorable. All right, I want to test this out to see if it's going to work for the whole reason why I personally purchased it, but I can see myself using this for my card making absolutely, especially after seeing how well it did. I also did buy a replacement blade for it just because I like to have all of the replacements on hand, but I again wanted to be able to go ahead and remove the binding from my Bible studies so that I can coil bind these again so that they can lay flat, which is so helpful when doing Bible study. So I'm going to go ahead and try to remove the binding. If this makes you nervous, then maybe just click off this video, but I'm simply removing the binding so that I can bind it in a better way for studying. All right, so I haven't started this study yet. It's on my to-do list next. After I finish my current one, I'm going to open this up so that I can fit my book within it, and just going to look at the other side of where it needs to chop off. All right, so I have everything into position and clamped down, so now I can slice. Done. I think that is as smooth as butter. I am so excited about this. I've had it in my craft room for a while now, unopened, and I'm gonna get good use out of this. So now that binding is off, I can use my other cinch machine to do a coil binding. That way when it's time to study, this can go ahead and open and lay flat. It's totally official. I'm gonna call it. This is my favorite machine of the year. I love this. Again, I purchased it with my own money because I was curious about it, and I am so glad I did. Even more, I am so happy that I bought the Cinch stack cutter. I'm gonna be using that time and time again in my card making to trim down lots of card panels and card bases at the same time. Cutting all of those card bases and card panels is now going to take me maybe a minute when it used to take me probably 30. So no more Gilmore Girl marathons when going ahead and trimming down all my cardstock because I just found a quicker way to do it. But loving all of these cute little things we made today. And again, we can do so many more fun things with this cinch. I will be bringing this back out at the end of the year to make some fun teacher gifts, but loving how everything turned out. And I'm excited to be continuing to use this machine to create some fun things. So be sure to give this a thumbs up if you found this helpful. Also, I didn't go ahead and bind this with my other cinch machine because I have a whole video on how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and let you reference that video if you want to learn how to go ahead and put a binding on this, one of the spiral ones, because it's so easy. So I'm going to go ahead and place that video down below for you, or I'll place it in the corner for you so that you can click on that to see how to use the other more traditional cinch machine, which is so easy, but it can be a little bit tricky. So watch that video because I definitely have heard that that video is simplifying it for so many people who have been struggling with it. So if you have one of the traditional cinch machines that does the coil binding and it's still in the box and you're struggling with it, check out that video. All right, everyone, I'll see you next time. Be sure to let me know what you thought of today's projects, and I'll see you all next time.